and streaming a new game with this new deck, which features a lot of white and black life gain cards, and the idea of the deck is trying to beat the opponent by the means of this final monster. 7 mana in total, flying for 5 creature, and whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So the idea here is to fit many life gaining cards and also cards that benefit from sacrificing some cards such as Pious Evangel and Vampiric Rites, and we can cycle Sanitarium Skeleton. And let's give a try to this deck. I think that still is going to require a little bit of tweak, but let's see how it performs to get an idea of what the deck is good at and what it is missing. The curve is the mana curve is too loaded at the tree, and we have many expensive cards for the late game, so maybe the problem is going to be a little bit of struggle at the early game, but we have the 1-drop on the skeleton that it's going to help us defend from the early aggression, and here we have one of them on our opening hand, and turn 3 drop. This is a very good hand for this deck. At least the only missing piece is double Grim to play Nissa. Sorry. So let's see, opponent on white, and a very bad spell against the skeleton could be the declaration in stone, but we might find ourselves making a good use out of the produced clues. Let's see. We are going to take this turn to fetch a forest. So we're getting closer to the casting of Nissa, and also next turn we can cast Draina's Emissary. That is going to be a primary target if our opponent has removal. So another forest, so we might change our plans. So let's see, I think that I didn't take into account that I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice here. I did not factor in that Shambling Band enters the battlefield tapped, so we cannot play Draina's Emissary this turn. So here we have to wait to play our cards, so there is I think that using forest into Nissa is better, because otherwise we play nothing this turn and we might draw a white land. So let's go with Nissa, and other play would be to drop the Shambling Band and wait until the next turn that we could cast From Beyond or Draina's Emissary or Ambushed Unmaking. This is a very powerful removal spell with instant speed, and we exile target non-land permanent. The opponent running probably mono white. Now there appears the swamp, the first strike creature here. Don't worry. Now, okay, now not much to do this turn because we have no drop, so let's start making some tokens that we might want to sacrifice later on, but for the time being they are going to be helping Nissa survive. Maybe we get to activate the ultimate ability, but I think that the power of Nissa comes from the -2, but assuming we can use the Cliffhaven Vampire with the life gain, it will be quite interesting. So here the opponent targeting the Nissa and we blocking nothing to tributors here. This is a very dull attack from the opponent that he should have done before casting his Drainers. Another land is quite good. So here we could exile Drainers Misery. We could drop the From Beyond. Since this one has flying, I think that using the anguish that I'm making might be appropriate. Okay, because Cliffhaven Vampire might meet a very sad end if we right out play him. So here let's get another token and proceed to attack. So, kind of imagine that the opponent has removal for a 2/4 flyer. So I wanted to make sure that Nissa is surviving. I think we're getting close to get the activation of his last ability. Now the opponent has another Knight of the White Orchid and a vampire with that can gain lifelink and flying possible. I think that the opponent is going for the vampire flavor here because he's not going allies. So another white is kind of good. And now we could activate Shambling Bent. So what now? I think okay, this will be a total of 7. Let's go ahead with another plant. So we have 3 blockers now. I think that we have to make our opponent spend his cards. If he has a removal, he's certainly not willing to spend it on these guys. So, provided the Cliffhaven Vampire survives, when we activate this, the opponent is going to lose 1 point of life. That is kind of the idea of the deck. Always watching, making a very powerful Blood Cursed Knight and a Tradition in Stone over the tokens, so we can kiss this Nissa goodbye. Well, not quite. Let's block this so she only receives 3 points of damage, but on the other hand, our opponent is gaining life from the lifelink on the Blood Cursed Knight. So I think that double Drainas can be good here. And this I'm not going to block an attack against Nissa because my creatures are very powerful. So let's make them stronger now. Let's just attack here. And all of them are flyers. And we can win the game if we outmatch the life gain from the Blood Cursed Knight. If our opponent can make this bigger, we are going to lose the race. But I think that the Scion tokens are good blockers for the lifelinker, provided the opponent is not using Nimbus Wings or the Angelic enchantment. Another lifelinker. Now we are going to win 2 and the opponent loses 5. Pills of Miracia to return maybe the skeleton, but the skeleton can return on his very own. So we can hit the opponent for 9. He is going to retaliate with quite a lot of damage. He's going to be gaining 8 back out of these 2. So we received 16 from the opponent here. So I think that that's not quite acceptable. So let's strike with just these 2 Drainas. And Gideon's Reproach kills one of them. So the good thing about that is that we can recover the Drainus Emissary from the graveyard, and I think I should have waited to play the From Beyond. So now I think the opponent is running Celestial Flare here, or maybe not, maybe he just wants to pass all the damage here. So I think that removing a vampire might be more important than removing these 2. So, well, at least the opponent did not gain life with the Child of the Night. He used Merciless Resolve. He had to sacrifice it. So we are at 8. The second vampire here. So we gain life. The opponent drops 2 more points. We have the token here. And I think that we are forced into recovering the Drainus Misery. And well, now that the opponent has no possibilities of using a reproach, can attack with her and play our other Drainus Misery. So the opponent is going to gain 5 life next turn, and we are taking 11 damage. Race is going rather slow here. I'm going to block one of these. Okay, sacrifice the creature. So, quite a bunch of damage here, but we are gaining 2 back at the beginning of our turn. Our opponent gets drained by 5. So Gideon, that could be transforming. So if we could remove the always watching, I think it could be very good for us. Now the opponent has a huge flyer here. The Pulse of Mirasa to recover another skeleton, or maybe we can sacrifice one of our creatures to kill one of the opponents and then recover the creature with the Pulse of Mirasa. So let's go ahead with the return of the skeleton. We can also bring back the Shambling Band with the Pulse of Mirasa, but Shambling Bands I think not going to take down any of the opponent cards. Okay, let's go with this. Get the skeleton here. We're going to continue and skip the attack. We have lots of blockers, but the opponent has lots of attackers. This one would be dealing a lot of damage to the opponent if he hadn't the delirium. So another interesting line of play could be to try to return some card from the graveyard of our opponent to his hand. So here, let's see. I think that getting this one killed on the first strike is good here. We can make this one over here, and I kind of need to prevent the damage here, so we are losing one of the Drainas. So let's go with, I think that this doesn't matter. So we are going to sacrifice this one before. Right, now let's see the first strike resolves. So what's going on now? Rasa, we bring back the skeleton. We gain life. We are getting hit back with a lot of damage. Gideon is transforming, and he can force our creatures to attack him. So we are basically being defeated by the always watching. So this should have been saved for that kind of cards. Probably that was the main mistake from this game. And Ailey appears, but it doesn't matter at this stage. So I don't think we can come back with any of our cards here. And even worse, it was planes. So let's go with our next opponent to see if we can use our knowledge that we gained from past game to get him. So a card that I considered adding to this deck was Tainted Remedy to make the opponent lose life whenever he tries to gain life. That is a very nasty enchantment, but since it's quite situational, I think that you cannot activate the enchantment on demand. Is not going to do much. So here, Tireless Tracker next to Double Evolving Wilds. It's kind of tempting to keep that one, and also an Unwished Unmaking. So provided we get to play our cards, this is a good hand. So let's begin with Hissing Quagmire. So if possible, we should wait to use Tireless Tracker later when we can use the Evolving Wilds to get 2 clues out of the landfall. So, okay, Shambling Bend is kind of very good because now we can use the forest untap to play the Drainas Emissary with a little probability of survival against a red and blue deck. So Fevered Visions, alright, it's going to be hurting ourselves. Let's hope that we can offset the damage using the life gain. So here we are going to play a forest and a Drainas Emissary. We now draw a card and receive 2 damage out of this enchantment. have Nisa's renewal a few turns away from us, but well, the clues are not going to be so tempting now because drawing with this in play could hurt us quite bad. But we also have the anguish at the making, but if our opponent is trying to pull out a Sphinx tutelage, I would like to save this one for the tutelage. So here the opponent is going to hit and we are going to let that happen because this is a creature that we prefer to have around. Opponent with 7 cards in hand. Now the second Rainus, Misery. Interesting choices here. I think Tireless Tracker. Evolving Wilds, and let's look for another planes so we can activate the Shambling Vent or the Hissing Quagmire if we come to that point. Attack. And well, there's we might be worried later on a Storm Chaser Mage that has flying and haste and prowess. So we draw the Ailey that to get into the later part of the card is going to take a while because we are 15 points away from that activation. So thinking in the eyes. Well, if this flips, we can anguish it and making, and the opponent is going to have all of them back in place. So I think that let's sacrifice the Tireless Tracker into the Choosing Thief. This gets trampled, so we were going to lose our cards anyways. So at least we prevent damage this way. So Long Rider. So Anguish on backhand. So we are getting close to Nisa's renewal, but this one is going to kill us. So I think that regrettably I'm going to have to spend the Anguish on making on this one. And let's hope that we can survive enough to cast our spells. So this will transform into a 4/4 first strike trample and lifelink. But rush of adrenaline, another one. So I think that we are doomed. If the opponent has okay, well at least the thief went up. So pretty much defeated. We kept a very slow hand, and the opponent got his favorite visions on the beginning, and we held back too long to deal with it. That let the opponent get into his cards, and there we are defeated. That's we gambled and we lost. So let's go ahead again and try to play much more carefully here. We are going to be we are, need to be willing to do sacrifices to win here. So here, at this stage, we want to be extremely cautious on our play. So let's try to think very thoroughly before doing anything. So let's see. Let's try to see. So the opponent plays first, and we have 2 lands in hand and not appropriate place. We have now too many lands, but one of them is the Shambling Bends, and I think that that means that we can activate this if we don't draw into something useful, and Nisa's Renewal can fix the scenario if we do not get what we want. So let's see. Right. Um, let's get. Come on. Come on. Ah, what? So the game is not letting me activate the Evolving Wilds. That is pretty annoying because we drew into another land that is very annoying. We might lose the game because of that. Had we used the Evolving Wilds before, the chance of drawing the forest would be quite lower, but not much lower, but we already have 5 basics in hand, 2 out. So let's go with Shambling Bend. A very heavy land hand, and the game annoying us. And now we have a Gisela that we are not going to be able to stop. So Lone Raider. Okay, we might as well have this on play. So I I could admit my mistakes and my errors, but when the when we are behind because of the game not letting us using the cards that we want, that makes me feel quite bad. So here the opponent used the Siege Craft over his Gisela, so she's now a 6/7 life link, first to strike and flyer, and we have yet another land. So let's try to palliate damage here. So our Shambling Bends makes us gain 2 life. The Lone Rider is going to gain 1. So now he's going to transform into a 4/4 that now can be targeted by the Reprisal, but let's hope the opponent has not drawn into Reprisal. And Thalia's not quite what we wanted. And Declaration. So dire situation here. We got the Anguished Unmaking, we can stabilize. But guess what? It was another land. So let's okay. Let's get rid of all our lands altogether. Well, two. We got two basic lands remaining. That is quite annoying. Alright, Westville Abbey not going to be able to transform anytime soon. Siegecraft on this, yes. So 11 damage against us. We cannot play untapped lands or creatures because of Thalia. So look at this hand. This is this is called the this is going to come enter the battlefield tapped, and so 11. So that's it. We lost here. Let's just draw something. Let's see what it is. And another shambling bend. That's it. Alright. Let's get to the next one. Okay. No, uno más. I'm losing, estoy perdiendo. Alright. Come on. Game. Okay. The problem of the lands is that having too many of them are not going to do much good to you in general, and having too few is going to be very bad. That is the most random defining part of the game. So by the end of the day, Magic is a game of luck, but of course there is a very important strategic aspect and decision making side of the game. But if you cannot get into your cards, you are going to lose anyways, no matter how good your cards are, no matter how good you're playing. So joining session, maybe it's time of the day that we have low concurrence of players. Let's hope that we got into a nice match here. So I'm assuming we are going to have our revenge against a blue and red deck here, or perhaps a mill deck, or perhaps none of them. So he's in Quagmire, our only card here, but of Nixilis, letting us drawing or killing cards. So here, right off the bat, so this time we got to use the card as we wanted to. Good. That is already a success for us. So high chance of this being red and blue again. Sanitary Skeleton. I was going to play the Quagmire first, but this offers a nice chance for the skeleton to shine. So this is possibly target for many of the opponent removal spells, but he's going to be showing up again. So still no plays from the opponent. I'm going to assume that the opponent has a lot of blue spells on hand. for maybe some expensive red spell. So far we are taking the lead here on double Planeswalkers. The Sorin is going to be quite powerful later on. So Quagmire shows up, so the opponent knows by now that something strange is going on. And here the Sphinx. So it was a milling deck. Let's hope that we drew the Anguished Unmaking. So Tireless Tracker. And a Goodland Cemetery. And the attack. Just note that often we would have to attack first, preferably, but since the opponent is tapped, we just go ahead and play the cards on our first main phase. So I think that we should play Obnixilex next, because that forces the opponent to play his cards, and he probably has counter spells, but if he doesn't get another blue, the counter spells are not going to be so powerful. So he has double blue now, so that makes me a little bit more cautious. So he had Turbid Vision, so he's tapped out, so a good chance to play Obnixilex now. So we are losing some value here, but let's go ahead with the planes of Obnixilex. And since the Favorite Visions can redirect damage to Obnixilex, and we are going to be receiving 2 points of damage no matter what, we need to draw and attack, and the opponent might kill one of these two, but if that happens, he's spending his cards. So we are starting to drain the life of the opponent here. And Sorin could deal with a possible Planeswalker from the opponent. So Nissa's Renewal, sad to see that going, but let's hope that the Anguished Unmaking appears soon. Out of Jace, the milling is going to keep happening now. Opponent has to discard 3 cards. He discards 2, but we are going to be milled for at least 6. So I think that having Sorin in play is appropriate. Champion Bent too. So the opponent activating, he discarded the Abyssinian's Judgment. So he is also playing with Madness. We lost. Well, the one card that I don't want to see here is the Anguished Unmaking. So opponent draws again. This combination is very powerful, and so far so good. The one mysteries. Let's start by drawing to see what is this card. The Ily. We might get there sometime, but let's see. I think what to do. We could draw a lot, that can save the tireless tracker. So I think that it's a good plan for the time being. Let's see what this card is. Gisela, very nice play. Oh, let's attack first. Let's see what the opponent does. So he gets 5 damage here. And we set up for little with this play. But the opponent might be running another removal spells of the sorts to deal with this. So see, he might have Lightning Axe, kill this. Right, we're getting close. Vampire Rites with the skeleton is quite good normally, but here the opponent hit a Pixelis with the appropriate visions, and right, almost there. If the opponent has no creatures, we can deal 5, 6, 7 damage, and if we could activate using Quagmire, we can kill the opponent, but this is 4 mana, not quite there yet. And Fields of Mirasa, well, the Anguished Unmaking is surviving the milling, but we have only 10 cards remaining. Since Judgment can kill the skeleton, well, so be it. We are going to lose next turn if we do not get something. So finally, one of the Anguished Unmaking got there, and well, is there something that we can do here? Ailey, nope. Service Tracker, Rights. So, not much to do here. So I think that the opponent succeeded in milling. So let's try once more to make an idea of what we would like to change from this deck. But we are not getting close to what we want to have here. We are facing too much control decks. So the control aspect of the opposing decks is stopping our plays. Let's see if we can surpass that style of game. So we could carry more enchantment removal. Maybe since we have ring, we could run the that elf that can remove enchantments. So here, having this in hand and having lost against a milling, makes this one tempting to keep Westvale Abbey, letting us getting some tokens later on. So let's go with the forest out of the Evolving Wilds. So other than that, we have we're facing another mana flood, but now we have a Lone Rider to cope. So we could try to exile this one, but black and blue points to a zombie deck, or maybe some a very heavy counterspell deck. I think that we have to remove Jace as soon as the opponent is tapped using the Anguished Unmaking, because otherwise this is going to be countered. Let's see, maybe the opponent is doing madness. So a land and he tapped out of Liliana. So we have to sacrifice our Lone Rider. So perhaps this is about zombies after all. So, but let's... oh, I missed the swamp. I wanted to have mana to Unleash Unmaking. That was a misplay here. So, but on the other hand, chance of counterspell are quite lower than I first expected. So I think that we are going to be seeing some zombies out of this deck, or a lot of resurrection from the graveyard. So now we are going to play the Goodlands Cemetery and exile Jace. And Jace is going to tap for an activation. Alright. We lose 3 life out of this. It would be funny if this returned to the face up version if you lose life like that. So wow, look at this. So I think that the opponent indeed was trying to play with zombie tokens, so he will need to play lots of sorceries and instants to get a lot of value from this card. So we are kind of in a hurry. So next turn I would like to draw anything, but I land. Westvale Abbey can be showing up. So another Oath of Liliana. So only one of them can be in play at this point, and we lose our single creature. So we have an empty board and a very lame hand. So let's go with the Campaign of Vengeance. Enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, the defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it would be good if we had creatures in play. The good thing about the Westvale Abbey is that the opponent is not able to use their counter spells against this. But we are going to be paying 1 life to gain the tokens. So another land. But, okay, let's go ahead. So very slow deck from our side. Of course we have lost two creatures thanks to the removal spells from the opponent. The Reckless Scholar. Come on, time stop. Okay. This one, target player draws, then discards. He may target us. Let's. Okay, we are going to attack with this. Now the opponent gets to choose if he wants to block. He could. This still has summoning sickness, so he cannot flip. This is similar to Jace, but he does not transform into Planeswalker. So to activate this one, we have to be to leave plenty of lands open, and this one is pretty likely to die to another removal. But we can resolve this because chance of counterspell is low at this point. So this kind of forces the opponent to kill her if he has the opportunity in hand. Other than that, we have a flyer that lets us gain life and drain the opponent. So he is going to activate this. He has to discard, but possibly he has some madness card in hand. It is a welcome to the fold, so he can steal our drainage. Oh, that thief. So now our good old Drainage Emissary has switched sides and is going to be attacking us. Let's search for a forest, I guess, or maybe a swamp, just in case. And we drew Terrorstrucker. Let's get a draw right off the bat. We kind of need to play our cards when the opponent is tapped. Pills of Mirasa, I think that is nice, but if we use it on the next turn, this kind of flips right on the spot. Let's just pass the turn, let's skip the attack, and let's see if the opponent can deal with the Tireless Tracker. We can also fetch a land from the graveyard, but it's kind of pointless. Also, the opponent has another Madness card in there. It's another Welcome to the Fold. Quite a good combo. So I think that we are being defeated by our own cards here, but at least we can say that our cards are winning. So, Humble One Mysteries. Let's get the Lone Rider from the graveyard, and I'm going to play this, and the Mysteries too. Skip the attack. Have a 4/4 first strike, trample, lifelinker. Let's see if the opponent has another trick. This one here is letting the opponent activate all his madness cards. Murder. So the good part is that we are gaining some tokens for the ornamental. So we are not out yet, but the opponent has very dangerous card. So let's see. So we could attack with the 1/1, but the opponent might be using that card that kills the. I mean what do you call it? We can the system thing. Let's get the clue. Let's draw. Maybe we can play the skeleton, right? Let's see if the opponent has another madness card here to kill this token. Gain 1 life. He takes damage. And I was thinking that he's going to activate Reckless Scholar, but no. So we could block with the Sanitarium Skeleton to gain another clue. We sacrifice the clue. We get another 1/1. We can use Westvale Abbey. I think the sacrificing the skeleton is better, provided the opponent is not stealing our cards or doing something nasty. Let's see. Once this is in play with a attack from, so that is, so the opponent did not use the Reckless Scholar to play this, so he certainly has another madness card out there. So I think that the opponent realized that we can block with this and get the clue. Let's get yet another token. We have to pay 1 life. So Nissa and so what now? So the opponent can't have a tap effect creature here. Let's pass. Attack phase. Reckless Scholar. He's going to do something nasty here, but we have to respond with the Westvale Abbey, I guess. Let's see. It is a Murderous Compulsion. He discarded. But there is no nice target for him to use it. Continue. So, sorry. Order's compulsion, targeting nothing. And now that this one is tapped, I think that we can attack with this guy. And if the opponent blocks, it's good. So let's now wait, or maybe we draw something cool for us. Let's see. Right, and it was the From Beyond, and of course I'm casting that. So the opponent is going to be aiming towards Nissa most likely, but at least we save ourselves from 4 points of damage. And since this one is in play, the opponent can be losing life out of this. The sad part is that the Drained Emissary is letting the opponent stay on the game. Let's see what happens here. So Nissa gets attacked. So if we play the Defiant Brute Lord and attack with all, the opponent is going to be losing 12 life. That is quite a hit. And also we can enlarge all our creatures thanks to Nissa, since we have already the From Beyond missed the Sanitarium Skeleton there, but Sanitarium Skeleton is just fodder. So here we are hitting for 12 to the opponent's face, just an opponent to lose life. This one. I have to repeat that more times. Yes. 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 And as a side effect, we are gaining 5. So the sad part of this is that the opponent might be having another murder to get rid of our Blood Lord. So Liliana hitting the token. So I think the opponent wants to flip his Liliana here, but that's okay. The opponent might be thinking if he wants to activate the Reckless Scholar or not, or this clue. The clue could make the Tireless Tracker bigger. So now Liliana is going to turn. So Liliana could fetch the Icelon Visitor from his graveyard, or make us discard our skeleton. So let's see what the opponent is up to now. So if we attack again On the declaration, the opponent is going to lose 10 points of life, and we can win just by doing that, thanks to the combination of Campaign of Vengeance plus the Defiant Bloodlord. So the opponent pretty much has to take the Defiant Bloodlord out of the game, otherwise he's gone. We have 15 points of life, and he has 4, 9, 11, and 13 damage in total with his creatures, but we have blockers too. So pretty much the opponent needs to remove this right now or he's dead, or otherwise gain a very hefty amount of life. And we have a backup plan with the Ormental 9/7 flying lifelink indestructible and haste creature that could kill the opponent if it's not blocked. So kind of a dilemma for the opponent. He chooses to draw to look for an answer. He has to discard, and it is another madness card. So he gains 3 life or X life. Let's see how much did he use it here. So we do not see the X. X was 2. He gains 2 life. So he's at 10. That is not enough. Murder, he had it. He just drew into the murder with the Reckless Scholar. So we have to use the Ormental this time. So otherwise we could get to the Pulse of Mirasa that could let us recover the Bloodlord. The opponent fetching the Visitor, and I think he should attack, but no, he didn't. So he receives 1 damage out of this. The Eily, not bad. So let's try to get something out of this clue. It's a Cliffhaven vampire. So I think that this stage, this is kind of similar to the effect of the Bloodlord. But if we play this one, this is 3. I think. No! Why did this tap? Come on. So we have lost. Okay, no, we needed 6 for this to happen. So let's go with this attack here. Okay, to the face, 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 and face. And the opponent pretty much continued to block here. We are recovering our life and draining the opponent, and he's at 1. So he has to block all our creatures. but well, we are going to receive a clue. So we could drop the Ailey or draw with a clue. I think that the Ailey might help us better this time. We still can sacrifice the clue. We can block with the Scion. So the opponent gained life with Reynas, but if this is around, he's as good as dead. So now he has to kill the Cliffhaven vampire. But with Ailey, I think that I misplay. I had little using the Ailey plus the Cliffhaven. Okay, let's how to do this. I do not have enough mana here. Damn it. Damn it. One mana short to kill the opponent here. I missed this combo totally. I did not realize that since the opponent was so low, now he has doubled the life. That I overlooked that one. So the idea is to sacrifice another creature to gain life, but this gives us mana. I think that what if we no, I think that if we sacrifice this one, the effect is not going to happen. Let's see how the opponent responds. Lots of blockers here that we need, so we are definitely covering this and this one. Okay, stop timer. We are going to sacrifice this one. The opponent at 1 and we quite low too, but as soon as we untap and we receive a Scion token, we win. Unless the opponent somehow gains more life. And even by attacking, we can defeat the opponent thanks to the Cliffhaven Vampire. This is a mini Bloodlord, a smaller version of the Defiant Bloodlord. This is kind of his offspring, I would say. And we can finish the opponent so with so many ways that it's just hilarious. Let's sacrifice to draw something, and that's it. Just by attacking we can win here. Even the opponent has not blockers. Confirm the attack, and that's it. So finally, a very tough game, but uh, despite missed little, quite interesting game because the opponent stole our cards and still we managed to beat him. So that's it for today. I'll be trying to improve this deck to take into account what we have encountered so far. And after that time, sayonara. Don't forget to leave your comments if you liked the video, and see you around.